back to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. So I had an interesting conversation with one of my chairman of the board clients this past week. And she said to me, she had been at our Prereqs for Success Zoom event, which she started by saying how much she enjoyed it and loved being there and all the things. And that was great. And then she said, and she's coming to the Power Talk Friday tour in High Point in October. And she said, I feel like I don't really understand all the things that you offer. And she said, I know that sounds crazy since I'm literally one of your chairman of the board clients. I literally was at LuAnn Live in 2019 in New Jersey. I'm going to your Power Talk Friday event in High Point. I've been to your Inside Outside Voice. She goes, but it's sort of all a little unclear in my mind what these things are. And I just can't wrap my brain around it. And it was funny. And she was laughing at herself. And she said, it's probably me. I'm probably half paying attention, blah, 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 which I know that feeling really well. It's like I kind of glance over a lot of things. And then when I need to know something, then I buckle down and pay attention, right? And so it just got me to thinking, we have so many new listeners in the last 4 or 5 months. And I'm so grateful for you. And, I throw these words around, Power Talk Friday tour, what would Lou do? Inside voice, outside voice, and I'm thinking, if this designer who has been in my world for 4 or 5 years now is having a little, moment of what the heck is all these things? I thought, what are you like if you're new to the show? And so this is going to be a short show, but I'm just going to kind of run down the different our Nancy G ladder of services, right? And again, if you're new to the show, you're like, what is a Nancy G ladder of service? So I'm going to tell you. So Nancy Ganskaufer is one of my colleagues. She is a business coach in the interior design field. And when she was on the show in the very beginning, one of her shows was talking about, and she called it ladder of services. And the way I am, when somebody teaches me something, it really impacts me. So lots of times what impacts me is when I already know something, but then somebody has a way of so directly describing it that it makes sense. So previous to Nancy saying this very direct sentence, ladder of services, I might have said things like, well, what are all the different things that you offer the people who could work with you? Like, do you have different types of things? Can they buy different sorts of products? Like, you just have all these extra words. And when she said, well, you have to define your ladder of services, it was like, boing. And that has happened to me so often on the show. And so what happens then is every time I think of the term ladder of services, I think of Nancy. And so it's just my nature to throw the cred back to the person who created that aha moment for me. So there's another little tidbit for you if you are a new listener to the show. It's funny because another thing on that same note is I'll say your Sandra Funk stand in your space. And, Sandra was on the show, the second episode, and she said, in context of the show, you have to stand in your space at some point and yada, yada, yada. And it's not that I never heard the term stand in your space before. Sandra didn't make it up. She knows it. I know it. But the way she said it with just such a way of conveying to you and to me at the time the confidence to stand in your space. And so you'll hear me on the show often, oh, well, stand, get in your Sandra Funk, stand in your space, blah, blah, blah. And so it's like I said, it's just my nature. It's the mechanism for remembering. It's also a mechanism for honoring that person who has taught me something. And so it's become sort of a shorthand if you've been here for a long time. But if you're new, you're probably like, what the heck is she talking about half the time? So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna run down this ladder of services that are available through the LuAnn Nigara Inc. platform. All right. First of all is the podcast. Of course, the free podcast. You can show up every single week. There are 800 plus episodes in the back catalog. You can go to my website. You can go to luannigara.com. You can click on podcasts. You can click on collections. And you can, if you are a new listener to the show, you can see the collections that are about knowing your numbers. So they're all shows about revelations. They're either teaching shows about something about your finances or designers that have had revelations about their finances that serve to inspire you to do the same thing with yours. There's shows on process, there's shows on marketing, there's shows on sales. So again, you don't have to come to the podcast and see 800 episodes in the queue and think, I don't know where to start. So I highly encourage you to go over to the website and look at collections and look for something that speaks to you right now that you're trying to work on. And the thing is that sometimes a show will appear in multiple collections because there are shows where the whole show is about, like, say, Facebook marketing, right? Let's call it that. But then there might be this one part, this one conversation that was just so significant, and I probably got an aha moment in it that was on a different topic, and maybe it was on process, or maybe it was on hiring or something. And so I will categorize that in both collections, because even if it's only 10 minutes of the show, if I know it's one of those lessons that can move the needle in your business, I will put it in that collection. So as you listen to them, understand that sometimes the whole show is about that topic in that collection, and sometimes there's just this really cool nugget in there about it. But either way, I think it's worth your time to listen to it, okay? All right, so we have the free podcast. Also, we have our other podcast, which is free. We have two other podcasts, actually. So my other podcast is Window Treatments for Profit. And if you are a window treatment professional listening to this podcast, that one over there is specifically the problems that we face as window treatment professionals. Okay, now you all know business is business. Like, really, I say it all the time, we could substitute the word bricklayer for interior design for window treatment, because we're not talking about how to make a beautiful room. We're talking about how to make money when you make a beautiful room. So making money, whether you lay bricks or you do design or you do window treatments, is very, very similar. However, there are nuances that are specific to each industry. And over at Window Treatments for Profit, we specifically pull out the nuances over there for window treatment professionals. And then also under my umbrella, we have Sass Says. And this podcast is hosted by my daughter, Christy Rocha. And this podcast is like she says, it's the therapy sessions you didn't know you needed. So Christy has had a very specific, unique experience as she has gotten married and had children and has tried to maintain the dreams and the vision she had for herself as a businesswoman in the world, but dealing with that beginning years of life, of your children's lives, where you have two toddlers under 3 years old, under 4 years old. And then this was all, what's the word I want? This was all made more difficult because she suffered postpartum depression, which then kind of crept into anxiety. And so she has lots of conversations over there about her journey on navigating all of this, and then lots of consultants and therapists that are offering really great advice on this. And I will tell you that many interior designers have now shown up as guests over there, because often in my off-air conversations with you before we start to record, we get to know each other. And often in those conversations, something will be revealed. And I'll be like, oh, my God, that sounds so difficult. That sounds so hard. That's an experience that is something that's happening over, that conversation is happening over at SAS Says. Would you be interested? And so we have had Tiffany White, Cheryl Janis, Meredith Huck, Sarah Brennan. There's probably others, but if you either suffer from anxiety, depression, or feeling in the space of postpartum, have small children, are questioning how the heck do you do it all and sort of maintain your sanity through it and try and thrive through it, these conversations are very good over there. So these are the 3 podcasts that we offer to you, and hope that you'll find yourself identifying in one or all of them. Okay, the next thing that we have is also free, is What Would Lu Do? So if you're new to the show, What Would Lu Do is your opportunity to send an email to me with a specific problem that you are experiencing in your business. And you send that to luannigara.com/WWLD. And you tell me about your problem, and then I answer the problem on air. You can share who you are. You can remain anonymous. But it's so funny, because when we started to do these shows, in full disclosure, I was a little like, does anybody want to hear this? Like, does anybody care? Does anybody who wants to ask me a question, right? And we opened it up, and we started to get the questions, and I started to answer them. And then I started to get the feedback that these are some of your favorite shows, which was super exciting and super surprising to me. So I have to say, I enjoy doing them. I literally love the puzzle of business. And so when you take the time to share with me a thoughtful email and express a difficulty that you're experiencing in your business, it is my honor and my pleasure to take it very seriously and give you the best advice that I can possibly come up with. And so if you are in that space, please, I invite you to send in your submissions. And if you are curious about them, again, there's a collection called the What Would Lu Do shows. Okay? All righty. Other free resources for you are, I do write in the window treatment magazine, Window Fashion Visions, and we do columns there. We also have many of those columns on my own website. We have, permission from Grace McNamara and Anya McNamara over there to repost them on my website. So I do encourage you to get the subscription to Window Fashion Vision. If you are a professional in the industry, either design or window treatments, you can go to subnow, subnow.com/Luann, and you can get your subscription there. And there's a lot of information in Window Fashion Vision that are for both industries, design professionals and window treatment professionals. Now, it used to be, when you used that URL, that you got, I think, a year subscription at no charge. I honestly don't know if it's still no charge, but my suggestion is to try it and see. And if you can get it for free, go do it. And even if there's a small charge, the information, every single issue, they do 6 issues a year, is insanely valuable. All right. And then I have written for Architectural Digest Pro as well. Now, this is not a free service. You do have to definitely pay for a yearly subscription for Architectural Digest Pro. Again, highly worth it. And I probably have 8 or 10 articles in the archives there. And so on standing, charging your worth, and going from side hustle to interior design business, all kinds of topics there. So these are resources for you. Of course, then the next layer is you have my books. Okay, the first book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business. The second book, A Well-Designed Business, The Power Talk Friday Experts, Volume 1. And the third is Volume 2. And these books are from $20 to $28. You can get them on Amazon. You can go on my website and click. I think you can just go to luannigara.com/book, and it brings you to the Amazon place to order the books. And, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, the first book, is really Business 101. It's, if you're newer in business, it is me just talking to you and telling you these are the 10 chapters, these are the 10 things that you want to make sure are in place as you go and build your business. If you are seasoned in business and you have yet to crack that code of being profitable, then it is my experience that you have missed one or some of these steps. And so therefore you go back and get this book, and you might unlock something and you're like, I should have had a V8, right? Well, why wasn't I doing that part? Okay. And then you go into the Power Talk Friday Experts books, which are subject matter. So you've got Nicole Heimer talking about branding and really how to break it down for yourself and asking yourself the questions so that you can lead to better insights on how to show up in your brand and your business and your website and, your social and all the things. Everything. You got Amber De La Garza talking about productivity. You've got Desi Creswell talking about your alignment in your business and your personal life. Oh my goodness. Claire Jefford talking about the client experience. Sarah Daniele talking about process and system, and Sarah Brennan talking about process and system. I mean, there's 20 co-authors. I'm going to leave somebody out, but I would go there. Okay. That brings me to the distinction between Power Talk Friday and Power Talk Friday Tour. Okay. So the you have the show every Friday, Power Talk Friday. Okay. And the concept of Power Talk Friday is that this could be any business topic brought to us in or out of the industry, right? So in the beginning, I wanted to be able to help you understand business topics at a deeper level. And it wasn't always available to me, an expert within the industry. And the truth is, think about that, right? If you are an interior designer, what's the chance that you're also an expert on SEO or video production for your business or profit and loss statements, right? It's like not really that likely, right? We don't all have like 5 superpowers, right? We're lucky if we have 1 or 2, right? And when we know what they are, then that's the magic sauce. Lean into it and just go, right? And so I knew I wanted each of us to have this ability to understand with more depth these different topics. And so I went out to the outside of the industry to bring these topics to you. And I wanted to call out a difference between a Tuesday show and at that point a Monday, Wednesday show, where we were talking to our peers and where we were talking to outside experts. And so now it's kind of blended a little, and pretty much it's a subject business matter straight up. And it's also the place where our sponsored shows live. So we have many vendors and brands and trades and coaches and consultants in the industry that want to sponsor the show so that they can put their products and services in front of you. And of course, these are paid shows. You should know that. It's your ability. It's a commercial. If you want to get up and walk out of the room, you certainly can. But if you've listened to any sponsored show, you know that I still 110% expect the sponsor to teach us something. It is literally, if somebody just wants to come and just, word vomit, my product, and I don't get a takeaway, then, it's a no thank you to the sponsored show. So I 100% stand behind our sponsored shows, that the goods and products and services are worth your time to learn about, but that more importantly, if you never partake of their goods and services and products, you did learn something in that particular episode. Okay, so that's a Power Talk Friday show. The Power Talk Friday tour, for example, we're having a Power Talk Friday tour in High Point, October 21st, 2022. And this started from the concept that I wanted to, now you know me, I start to meet all these smart people and I want them in a room. I want them in a room for me to learn from. I want them in a room for you to learn from. And so what we did was we started to do these tours, usually banking up with the markets, Las Vegas market, High Point market, and so forth. And I would invite 2 or 3 of my Power Talk Friday co-authors to do a one-day coaching session with me and whichever designers signed up for it. And we do a maximum of 20 designers. Sometimes we've had 5. And we usually have 3 to 4 coaches. DeVincenzo always comes with us because he loves real-time coaching as well. And we spend the day together. And you are in a room sometimes with 4 coaches and 5 other designers, or 4 coaches and 20 designers. But we don't go beyond that ratio because this is the chance for that. You know me, what I always say is, when you're at a conference, a big conference, 100 people, 200, 500, whatever it is, and somebody raises their hand and they ask that question and you all just go, OMG, are you kidding me? Because you're just like this. In my business yesterday, my client, blah, blah, blah. No, 400 people sitting in a room, that is not the time for that, right? But I know how needed that is. I know that we need to say, in my business yesterday, a client this, how do I get out of the sticky situation, right? And so the Power Talk Friday tour is the solution for that. It is the place for you to be in a room with a very small ratio of, I don't know if it's a high ratio or small ratio. Isn't that funny? I'm so dense when it comes to this stuff. Of experts to designers and window treatment professionals, right? And by the way, I've had interior photographers come to Power Talk Friday tour. It's your creative business. You're here. It will work for you. And so it's a one-day thing. We go from 8:30 in the morning. We end it at 11, 12 o'clock at night with a celebration dinner, and it is just magical. Nicole Heimer of Glory and Brand, the first time that she was able to participate as a Power Talk Friday expert, she said to me, Lou, I've been designing your workbooks for these. I've been helping your team design their graphics. I've been designing the logos for these. I've been working on your Power Talk Friday tours for 2 years now. And having just been there all day for one, there's one word to describe it. And that's magical. And, we just looked at each other and we smiled and we hugged. And I was just like, right? It's just so cool. So if you're ever interested, Power Talk Friday tour is powertalkfriday.com. And if we have a live tour planned, there will be a landing page with a registration and the details of the experts. If, it's not an open registration, if it's not planned, it'll tell you when the next one is planned for. So we are in registration now for powertalkfriday.com if you're interested. Okay. Then what we have after that is Luanne University. Oh, I'm sorry. Before that, we have Inside Voice, Outside Voice. So Inside Voice, Outside Voice. This was one of the things that confused my chairman of the board client. We started this about 1.5 years ago, and it was born out of Luann Live 2020, the virtual event, because we offered 3 follow-up Zoom sessions as a group with me. If you had you had signed up for the event during Early Bird. And after doing the monthly Zoom events, the designers that were coming, there was, 70, 80 designers, they were like, we want more. And so what we did was, I have long been in search of a way to just literally begin the journey of being that person that actively gives to charities, right? Not just here and there and all the things. And so I decided to combine that next initiative of my personal journey of wanting to do that with Inside Outside Voice. And so the reason for that is because if I'm going to come and have a Zoom meeting every month with you guys, listen, we're all business people. Are you going to do a consultation every single month at a window treatment store, right? Or a tile store where that business says to you, hey, once a month, would you come in and I'll just get people together and you'll answer all their questions on interior design. And you're just like, really though? Every month I'm going to show up and I'm going to take, 20 minutes to get ready for it, an hour, hour and a half to be here, another 20 minutes to get back from my, back into the swing of my business. And I'm just going to do this every month. It's like, right? And so, what happened for me was I wanted to do this, but I understood, full disclosure, that I probably couldn't charge you enough money to make it actually worth the, what do I want to say? The practical time to be there, right? We always talk about $10 an hour jobs, $100 an hour jobs, $1,000 hour jobs, $10,000 an hour jobs. You as a business owner must spend your time, especially when you're the CEO, as much of that time as you can in those $1,000 and $10,000 hour jobs within your business. It's just a simple fact, or you will not be profitable. And so I knew that if this was going to be quote unquote profitable, that the price tag would have to be high, that it would be too much of a barrier. And so then I decided to flip my thinking on it, knowing that I wanted a place that I could be there to support you on that same level, that the podcast is free for you, on a level where it was easy access for you. And in order to make it make sense for me, I said, well, let's just attach it to the charities. And so here's how it works. Every month, it's $36 for you to come, and I give $18 of it to the charity. And so, and we pick charities. And this is, I'm going to tell you what, because I was going to do it for free. And then I was like, no, the little skin in the game never hurt anybody. And so here's my thoughts on it. We pick charities that often have to do with the design industry or the window treatment industry. Sometimes they're topical. So when it was Christmas time, we were doing, what was it called? The pay away your layaway, to help a family at the holiday time, have a little ease of their burden. So this is the point. And we have topics and we talk, and there's usually 30 or 40 designers there. Sometimes there's less. And I might talk for 10 minutes on a topic and take questions and answers. I might talk for 30 minutes on a topic and take question and answers, whatever it is. But we spend an hour together, and it's available to you, InsideVoiceOutsideVoice.com. All right. Okay. And then the next thing is LuAnne University. So LuAnne University is, I'm going to be completely just right in your face with this. This is your opportunity to get the business education that you might not have gotten. Plain and simple as that. It is literally born out of every email, every private conversation I've had at a live event, every text DM that I've gotten that has said to me, I don't know how to do this in my business. I don't understand this process in my business. And I have looked to my Power Talk Friday experts. I've looked to the designers that I've gotten to know at a very, very high level of intimacy about their business and their superpowers. And I have said to these brilliant people, will you teach this to your colleagues? Will you teach online bookkeeping to your colleagues? Will you teach video marketing for your colleagues? Will you teach social selling to your colleagues? Will you teach storytelling to your colleagues? All of these things. And they have all said, yes, I will do it. And what I know is now we have 12 classes. And if you go to LuanneUniversity.com and you literally look at this roster of classes, it is at the point now where, just like if you said, I'm going to go to university and it's going to take me 4 years to get through this. I'm going to take these 2 classes this semester, these 2 classes this semester, these 3 classes this semester. At the end of 2 to 4 years, you will have dramatically impacted your business. You will have transformed your ability to run a profitable design firm or window treatment firm. I know this 100%. I am not at all unclear about this. We have made iteration after iteration on this in the last 3 years since LuAnn University was born. And we just add layer and layer of more goodness to it every single semester. And I am insanely proud of it now, and insanely proud to offer this resource to you, because where do you get this? Even if you've had the luxury, the privilege, the ability to go to a 4-year design school, these are not the courses that you learn at a 4-year design school. These are not the courses that you get a certification class. These are not those courses. These are how to run the business. Okay? These are how to do the things in the back end. Okay? How to put a process to your business, how to do a design for construction book. These are really, really specific, actionable skills, information, processes that you need to run a great firm, period. That's it. So that's Luanne University. We have 5-week classes. We have 3-hour intensives where you come in 3 hours, boom, get the knowledge, get the information, get the inspiration, get the tactics, and you move on. Okay. We are in early bird registration if you're listening in real time. Okay. So you go to LuAnnUniversity.com. All right. And then what else? We have the live event. Okay. So, COVID kind of put a crink in all my plans here. And we did do the first live event in 2019 in New Jersey. Then we did have the next live event virtually. And yes, I've been getting emails and emails and emails. You said you were going to do it in November of 2022. Is it coming? Is it coming? So here's the thing. We are doing it 100%. We are doing it in March of 2023. All right. Within the next month or so, I expect to actually have full details on what it is and how it is. But I do know that many of you have emailed me in the last couple of weeks saying, hey, you said November. Are you still doing November? I sort of it's September. I kind of need to know. And so I hoped to actually have registration and all of that settled for you at this point, because I can't stand that I'm telling you the dates again and then you're thinking, yeah, right, you'll probably cancel it again. I'm not canceling it again. We're doing it in March of 2023. It will be in New Jersey again, okay? Which is a great place. Come to the Dirty Jersey. It's amazing here. So that is coming up, LuAnn Live, okay? And we are going to incorporate wellness into this event, wellness and design into this event. And so really, we're putting together a terrific agenda, and I'm very excited to share it with you. Okay, and then finally, the last thing is the Chairman of the Board program. This is my one-on-one coaching program. I would say if you have any interest at all, just go over to LuAnnNigara.com/COB, and you'll see what the deliverables are, and if it seems like something that you're interested in. I only take 5 people a year. That is it. It is very intensive, lots of time. I love it. I love the relationships I've created with the people who have honored me by hiring me as their chairman of board. But it's 5 a year. That's it. Okay. All righty. So I guess, one last thing that I want to share with you before I go here is some hindsights, right, on 6.5 years of podcasting and all these interviews, is that we do all have a superpower. I mean, we do. All right. We have to listen for it. I talk about listening to your inside voice and hearing what he or she is saying to you. But all these interviews, all these conversations, it's when you have sat with yourself and really looked hard in the mirror and recognize what your superpower is, and then you lean into it. The transformation in your daily life, the joy that comes to your business, the creativity, the ideas, just the experience of being a business owner gets better and better and better. Because as you can start to craft and build your business in a way that supports what you love doing the most, then it's a joy to wake up and do it. Now, how do you do this? You first have to get clear with yourself. What are your superpowers? Then you have to build yourself either a real team in person, like a live in-person team, or an extended virtual team of people to do the things that you just don't love doing or that you're not good at doing. We've talked about this a dozen times on the show, but I want to hammer it home because as I've built this business over the last 6.5 years, each year I move more and more things to the left side of the plate. Nope, don't like doing that. Let's hire somebody to do that. Nope, don't like doing that. Let's put that under your umbrella, what you do. Now, when you're building and you're new, chief cook and bottle washer, right? But this is the transformation that I want to share with you, is that as I have intentionally built this business to allow me to do the things that bring me the most joy and to consciously hire people around me to do the things that I'm not good at anyway and that I don't like doing, it is a real thing, the level of satisfaction that you start to experience on a day-to-day basis. Now, are there still problems? Yes. Are there still challenges? Yes. Are there still days where you're like, oh my goodness, how can this be a real day? Yes. But there's so much fewer and far between because you're in your joy, okay? And so that has been a particular hindsight lesson because I've had conversations, not just myself in my own head, this observation, but many of you that have experienced this. And it made it possible for me to realize that this is a worthwhile goal for each of us to pursue. To not just it's just not this unicorn thing out there where business can be fun and enjoyable and, all the things. It's no. You can intentionally design a business that is fun to run. And it's just one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in doing this podcast. And so I wanted to share that with you. All right. So, okay. Thank you for being here, right here in this episode, listening to me, but for being here in my world, in my space, in this space that we have created together. Okay. Oh, and I'm going to just say one other thing. I forgot. I should have told you this. If you are going to High Point Market, October 2022, guess what? J-Pour Living is throwing a birthday party for me. Can you imagine this? I'm so excited. I'm so honored. I'm so humbled. I'm super, super excited about it. I am turning the big 6-0 this year. And on Sunday, October 23rd at 2 o'clock, J-Pour is having a birthday party. I'm going to give a little talk. We'll have a little chat, all of us, and then some champagne and cupcakes and all the fun things. And if you are going to be in High Point, boy, oh boy, would I love to give you a big hug and thank you in person for being on this journey with me. So I hope to see you there. Thanks so much for joining me. Decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of LuAnn Nigara Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or Luanne University, go to LuAnnNigara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to WindowWorksNJ.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.